like that to improve one's well-being. And what I do is I work on an energy advice project, and I've been doing that for 2 years. We work with all the local citizens advice bureaus, the children's centres, and schemes like this to come in and talk and try and provide some help and hopefully a confidence boost on managing bills. And my project is funded by Edico, which is the only not-for-profit energy company who are doing lots of innovative things that are really great, such as doing single tariff rates for tariffs. I'm sure you've all experienced with the different providers how there's so many different tariffs, 400 different tariffs now. It's all very confusing. And actually, doing 2 years of this professionally, it doesn't actually get any less confusing. but what one can gain is one can get a huge boost of confidence in how to deal with energy bills. And particularly, it's not a lot different to dealing with wider bills, but dealing with all your utilities, dealing with banks, creditors, whatever. It's one approach that sort of suits all of them, really. So what I wanted to come along to do today was to give you some really key tips on managing your bills in general that surprisingly not a lot of people are doing. And also to answer any questions that you might have on energy saving, on electricity. I know you don't pay heating bills or gas bills here, is that correct? Yes? Okay. But certainly I'm here to help on electricity, water, any concerns you may have on that, which includes energy efficiency of your appliances, any troubles you've had with your suppliers. I'm very experienced with dealing with the most gritty suppliers and all their debt collection departments and things. But, anyway, so the first real top tip that I wanted to bring today was to really urge you all to pay by direct debit. Get a show of hands of how many people are paying by direct debit. Okay, about half. Okay.
Sorry, she can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm a little bit deaf, but I can't hear. Over here, we might be yes?
I could hear the direct debit, but I couldn't hear what it was just supposed to be doing with the direct debit.
I think you might be able to.
If I'm moving too fast as well, please ask me to slow down. So, direct debit is by far the best way to play if you've got if you've got a stable income. So if you're receiving state pension, any additional pensions, direct debit there's no downside to it. You get when you're paying for utilities, you get discounts. You usually get between a 5 and 10% discount for paying by direct debit. You will receive far fewer letters because they won't be pestering you to pay, that you've got a payment plan in place. And I guess most importantly about direct debit is you're not worrying so much. Obviously it won't be as much of a problem now, but I'm sure when you were living elsewhere and you got a gas bill, and if you were paying quarterly, you don't know how big that gas bill is going to be. You might not have saved enough money. So, and that applies to electricity as well. Your electricity usage will vary. It will generally be the same. But if you're paying by direct debit, you're paying the same amount every month. It's the best way to be stress-free, really, with paying. The next tip that I wanted to bring is to provide meter readings regularly. Your energy supplier is only obliged to read your meter once a year, which means that if you have underestimated readings for up to a year, you can suddenly have a bill that comes in, and it's a catch-up bill, basically. And so you might find that you're, several hundred pounds behind, possibly less so with electricity, but you could find that you're quite behind, and you might not have the means to pay it at one time. So, do you all have your own meters here?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, all right. So, Yes, so I'd recommend phoning your supplier. Most of them have pre-phone numbers, and every 3 months, the supplier a meter reading. They've usually got, you might have to speak to a robot, but it's much quicker than speaking to the real people, I find, for providing a meter reading. They've normally got an option, you just phone up, you press, and you type in the meter reading. And again, that's another key way to really ensure that you're not going to be stressed out with a sudden, unexpected high bill. The third really important tip is make sure that you're getting all the money that you're entitled to. So you'll be on state pension. Make sure you're getting the winter fuel payments. Make sure that's being paid into your account around this time each year from the government. There's a new thing called the Warm Home Discount, which is a £120 rebate against your electricity bill. Now that should happen automatically for most of you, but if you haven't received £120 off your electricity bill, you need to talk to your supplier, because I'm sure you'll all be automatically entitled to getting that. So that's another new discount that the government are doing, which is paid through your electricity supplier. And also, if you make sure you're getting all the benefits you're entitled to. If you don't have a private pension or any income in addition to your state pension, you might be entitled to pension credit. If you've got a mobility problem, you might be entitled to attendance allowance. So these are benefits I can advise on. I also work at the Citizens Advice Bureau, so I've got plenty of experience with benefits. But if you wanted to go to the Citizens Advice Bureau, they would be able to help you apply for some of it.
That's
Yeah.
the sort of thing that we would do.
Oh, that's what you would do already?
Yeah,
Okay,
as
great.
support advisors,
Great.
that's our role.
Good, okay, all right. I don't want to muscle in territory. So, and the other absolute key thing, I mean, this I guess this encompasses so much, but it's really to be aware that there is so much help out there. That's the main thing. Whenever I come to give these talks, I think, well, I could give all this different detail and all the different things that I know about energy, but really what I need to get across is that there is help available. If you're being hassled by a creditor or a supplier or any sort, it only takes so many calls from the right people, and it can be sorted very quickly. That's what I found very quickly doing this job, is that it's not about what I know, but how quickly I can get the message across to the supplier that I'm speaking to. And there are plenty of nice people at even British Gas, which has got quite a difficult customer service record in my experience. There's lots of nice people there that do want to help, and they understand when things are difficult. And that could be a financial problem. It could be that you're not in a financial position to pay your bill. Or it could be that something else is going on. Maybe your bill is unusually high and you have no idea what it is. Maybe you lack the expertise to work out whether it's an appliance, or sometimes it could be your meter. I'll talk to RHL. Myself and my colleague, we do this all the time. We can usually hone in on the problem straight away. I think that's really the essence of what I wanted to bring today, but I'm very, very happy to answer any questions, either as a group or individually, if anybody would like to speak to
This first Wessex, with the gas we use,
Yeah.
cooking and heating,
Yeah.
do they hunt out the best supplier, or they just stay with the same one?
Oh, I don't know, that would be...
No, we hunt, they change quite regularly, don't they? Finance team actually do a energy survey, or whatever it is they call it. Yeah, that's the one. So we do quite often change suppliers and things like that. So yeah, they do monitor that quite closely.
When you leave things on standby, that uses electricity, doesn't it?
Yes.
So now there's a lot of the new appliances come that you can't switch them off at a switch. They are just automatically on standby. You got to keep pulling the plugs out all the time.
Yeah, Skyboxes are notorious for that. I know Sky Digital, they want you to have it on all the time. Generally, it's things with a screen that use a lot of power, so televisions, computer screens, things like that. I mean, it is, as a general rule, it's best to switch off anything you can. But even phone chargers, if you leave them plugged in, they're drawing
not be addressed on this situation, saying, please, on-off switch, please,
Yeah.
instead of having to keep pulling it off the plug?
I'm sure that would be on the way. I know the EU is getting quite tough on you know, carbon cutting, so I would hope that is on the way. Yeah.
So in our, I don't know about anybody else, but in our flats there's not an awful lot of power points, so you end up having other points there, and to try and get behind equipment, you pull the plugs out,
Yeah.
to pull it off standby is a mission.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, generally, if you're not using it, switch it off. Yeah.
You're not your phone.
Sorry?
No, your mobile phone.
Well,
Don't leave it on charge once it's fully charged. Took it out.
What you can do is you can get extensions that have individual switches for each plug.
Yeah.
So you can get, usually you get them in just a little cube one that has 3 ports.
Yes.
But you can.
I've gone ahead.
Four
Plugs with each individual plug.
Yeah. Yes.
I think I paid £4.99 in Wilkinson's or Tesco, somewhere like that, because I don't have enough sockets on my property.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
No.
Yes.
What's the cheapest option? Leaving your heating on a low constant, or having on top of it, turning it off? Does it take more electric to heat it up, or more gas to heat it up,
Yeah.
than what it does if you leave it on constant?
Well, I asked that a lot, and I'm never exactly sure of the answer. Usually what it's best to do is think about the rooms that you're in most often. So, I mean, most houses are on a thermostat now. So, generally, if you turn the thermostat down to, if you turn it down 1 degree, you're saving so much energy just doing that. But if you've got the thermostat, the heating is doing its job automatically, and it will be topping itself up basically rather than you sort of waiting for it to turn off and switching off. But perhaps a better way to look at it is to if you've got thermostats on your radiators, is to keep the lounge warm if that's where you're spending most of your time, and the bedroom less so, or only switch, control the radiators according to when you're in those rooms, and that's probably going to save you more energy than switching on and off the whole heating system, but having all of the radiators on. Yeah.
And my second question, can you just confirm with the warm home front that it's only for people that are on pension credit?
Warm home discount. The warm home discount. There's a whole set of criteria. Pension credit is probably the qualifying criteria for yeah.
I know you said that everybody could probably get it, but I just wanted to.
Okay, yeah. So I
maybe not all get
probably
it, but
should.
you've got
Yeah.
to be on a means tested benefit.
Yeah.
I think what's been happening here, because we applied, they've been sending out letters between November and February to those that are actually entitled to it, and they have to phone a number, and when they phone that number, they then set their tariff for them, is what's been happening.
Yes.
If you don't receive a letter and you think you're entitled, then we have to phone up, and they will look at each one individually and decide. That's what they told us.
I think for most companies it's too late to do that for this year now.
Yeah.
But if you phone up, I'm sure we'll be able to register for the next year, and then it will be paid around this time next year. I think they were being paid between December and March. Any other questions?
Do you know anything about these meters that they don't have to come and read? They say they don't have to come and read.
Smart meters.
Smart meters.
Yeah.
Only they put one in my flat.
Right.
But they phoned up last week because they couldn't, there must have been something wrong and they couldn't get it.
Yeah.
So they asked for anything.
Yes.
So, but I don't know how.
Oh, so you don't know how to read the smart meter?
Oh yes, yes, because there's numbers up the top.
Yes.
Okay. They don't have to come and read it. This is what I couldn't understand.
Yes. Yeah. The idea of a smart meter is they're hoping to eliminate a lot of the problems that have occurred. So providing meter readings or not being able to obtain meter readings is one of the main reasons